guys, this is Austin, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to summarize giant website scrapes to use for customized AI personalization. So let's jump right in. So this is the workflow that we're going to be going over today. Now, I know it's a little bit of a shorter workflow and it is going to be a shorter video. However, this step is extremely important to get right in order to make sure that the following steps are done correctly and that you get a really good result. Now, the reason why I broke this up into a separate workflow is because previously I had it all in one giant workflow and I ran into some RAM issues, execution errors, and I wanted to batch out giant batches of tens of thousands of contacts at the same time, and I was running into errors on execution. So I realized that when I chunked it up into smaller workflows, smaller pieces, it was easier to get the pieces right, but also at the same time, execution was a lot better on the server side, which ended up that I could go through a lot more contacts at the same time. So let's jump right in. Now, the first thing I'm going to go over is my table structure here. Now, you guys might be using Excel sheet. I do not recommend you use Excel sheets. However, if you are using an Excel sheet, this should work generally about the same. Just think of these as the columns of your Excel sheet. Now, I have a table called master companies here, and really the only thing we're looking at here is the company, and we're looking at the web text and the summary. Web text is the text we scraped in the last video, so if you haven't seen that video, check that out where I show you how to scrape tens of thousands of websites using Zenros. So we grabbed that web text from the last video, and then in this video we're going to make a quick AI summary of that so we can further process that down to get good personalized emails and personalized outreach for LinkedIn or for phone calls or whatever you need it for. Sweet. So back to N8N. So this first node that I have is a Postgres node. And the reason why I have that node instead of a Supabase node is because it's a lot easier to filter down the results. And I don't have to grab all the data. I can just grab the data that I want to deal with at the specific moment. Now, if you're dealing with Google Sheets node, it's going to grab the whole sheet. So you can't quite filter it the way I'm doing in this Postgres node. But I assure you the process is essentially the same. So my SQL query looks like this. Basically, I'm only grabbing the company name and the website text that we scraped in the last video from the master companies table, which is this table here. So basically, I'm only grabbing this and this web text here, right? Where the summary exists. So I want to make sure that I'm not grabbing any contacts or companies where we couldn't find a good scrape from the website. And I also want to make sure that I haven't summarized them before. So I want to make sure that the web text exists. So we want to make sure the summary does not exist because we haven't summarized them yet. And we want to make sure that there is, in fact, a website scrape that we've scraped them from. Now, jumping back over to my workflow, I have a loop over items. Now, for this example, I'm going to put the batch size as 1, but I realize that you can have the batch size up all the way to 8 with OpenAI without hitting rate limits, so long as you don't have any other workflows running at the same time. Technically, you could do 10, but I realize sometimes when it's processing really fast, sometimes that'll error, so I like to keep it at 8. But for this demonstration, we're going to keep that at 1. And then we go straight to our OpenAI node. Now, I'll show you the prompt in a second, but the node basically looks like this. I'm just grabbing the web text from the loop over items, passing that directly in. And then I also have it here to where it always outputs the data. It retries 3 times on fail. That's in case the internet messes up or something goes wrong, right? And then on error, we want to continue using error output. And we actually just want to skip that item and go to the next item. And so I link the error node back to loop over item, so it just goes to the next item on the list. Now, my prompt looks like this. So it's a really simple prompt, but it's extremely important that we do this step. So you are helping me determine what services a company offers given their website content. That should be 1 to 3 sentences in length. It should only describe one of the services that they offer. Do not include the company name. Keep the response as short as possible. Do not include any contact information. If they offer multiple services, choose the most relevant one based on the input. So what this will do is when you send a giant website text, whether it contains HTML or no, it will summarize it into a 3-sentence block or less of exactly what the company does. Now, this is really important when you go to the next step, because if I was to send a giant HTML and then I asked ChatGPT like, yo, I want a personalized email or personalized LinkedIn message based on this HTML text, it's going to get all confused and it's going to give you some really shitty output. So it's really important that we do this filtering step in between in order to get the proper output that I'm going to show you in the next video. Okay. Now jumping back into the N8N, we have one final step here, which is we're going to filter if the AI output was proper or not. Basically, we're checking to see if this item exists. And then if it doesn't exist, we're going to go to the next item in the list. We're dealing with tens of thousands of items. If one or two of them error, it doesn't matter. Like, just screw those ones. Let's just keep going. Like, we're processing so many results. Obviously, there's going to be some issues somewhere along the line. And then we're going to go to Supabase and we're going to update it. Now, this is where you would have your Google Sheets node. Basically, it works the same thing. We're going to match the column company with the company name. So we're going to grab it from loop over items, the company name, right? And then we're going to update the summary. Okay, this will look exactly the same in the Google Sheets node. It works essentially exactly the same. So I'm updating table name, which this will be sheet name, right? Master companies. We're going to go column name company. We're going to make sure that the company equals the one that we're working on. And we're going to update the summary field, right? Now let's go ahead and check and see what this AI output actually looks like. So I'm going to disconnect this real quick and we're going to actually just go through and test this to see what this output does look like. All right, so now we've got some AI output, so let's go ahead and check out what that looks like. Now, this one didn't have any HTML in it, but even if it did, it wouldn't really matter. Basically, we got this huge blob of text that we grabbed from Zenrose from the last video, and we got an output. This company offers injection molding services for thermoplastic and thermoset materials. So that's a really easy sentence that we can work with to further personalize and process this down into something we can use to do massive outreach with on LinkedIn or on email. I hope that this video helped you guys out. Now, of course, this video is useful, but it's not quite as helpful without watching the next video, because in the next video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do massive personalized outreach at scale for use on email, LinkedIn, or whatever it is that you guys want to do. So please stay tuned for that video. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.